There they are, Oxford Brookes on the bottom of your screen in their famous maroon, Cal Berkeley on the top of your screen in their navy blue, and you'll see shortly a big yellow C on their backs and their fronts. Two really huge university programs with a lot of history between them, and it's come down to this finals day. They're sitting there on the start line, they've knocked out all the rest of their opposition. Who's going to take the win?
Both these universities have been represented already in many different events throughout the day, so really successful programs, as you say, at university level. And again, it's just it's about spirit and pride at this point of just one race left. There's always that feeling of at this point so much has happened, but it all comes down to this is obviously the one they want most.
It really is. There's nothing quite like this race. That's why we see crews coming from around the world, the very top of the top, coming here to race down this 2,112 metres to get themselves on the top.
Get ready, please.
The Prince Albert final, the University of California Berkeley A on the top of your screen, Berkshire Station against Oxford Brookes University A on the Buckinghamshire Station on the bottom of your screen.
Conditions look good at the start, flat, not too much wind. They're not having to do too much to keep the boat straight, which is always a bit of a relief in that bow seat.
The cox's hands are going up and down slightly. They'll raise their hands to tell the umpire they're not quite ready. They'll instruct their crew to have a slight tap. They want to start with the straightest line possible. As soon as those hands go down, the umpire will begin this race.
Strokes, I love this bit, they just power up the boat. The boat can come up to speed really quickly, short, sharp strokes from both crews, getting the rate as high as possible. They start lengthening out along this island now and bring it into that rhythm and rate that they can sustain over the long course ahead of them.
Very strong start there by Oxford Brookes. Coming at us at the left-hand side of your screen, the maroon, but Cal seem to have gone out equally as hard, and how we'd see these boats going are level at the end of the island.
Really impressive starts from both crews. You can you can feel and you can hear the power and the force coming down. The start, again, in this two-boat race, the start is so important because it becomes a mental battle as much as a physical battle, and it's just where, how have you done, how have you settled, how are you going to take on, can you get an early lead, can you get that confidence building start on your opposition? This is going to be a tight race the whole way down.
Yeah, and it's a slightly slower race than some of the coxswains boats you see, because if you look at the front of your screen there, you see a coxswain in the bows, they're steering and they're shouting encouragement to the rest of the crew, and Cal have slipped a seat. They've got a slight edge on the Oxford Brookes crew. Yeah, that was a nice move. It almost looked like University of California just kept that rating high and just aren't settling yet. They're going to try and take as much as they can, as early as they can. Now Oxford Brookes will feel that and will know it, and their coxes are obviously calling the instructions as well. Cox will be very aware in both seats exactly what's happening with the opposition, and they'll just be saying, we need to stay on them, we need to not let them slip away, we can't let them take any more seats. We're watching two of the very best university programmes in the world here battling it out in the Prince Albert Challenge Cup, and they are neck and neck. It says slight bow ball to Cal right now on the right of your screen with a big yellow C on their backs, but the maroon of Oxford Brookes have not let them go, and that's a strong start by both crews. Yeah, you can see actually there is wind picking up and down this course, which will affect them slightly. It definitely helps when you've got the cox, although the cox, as you say, will weigh the boat down and slow the boat down a little bit. They'll also be massively helpful in the motivation and the steering, just to keep these boats aligned and straight, coming straight down that course. And the form book is with Cal. They were slightly faster to the barrier yesterday, slightly faster to the Forley, and I think that will give them quite a lot of confidence coming down this course. But it's finals day, anything can happen. This is sport. If you really punch out there and believe you can do it, it can take you a long way down this river. It's also an interesting, the last few races that Oxford Brookes have had, they've sort of dominated from the beginning of the race. They've really managed to use that power and that length and that speed to lay down how the race is going to pan out from the first stroke. So this is the first time really this week they'll have to come from behind if they're going to go ahead. So they will be in an uncomfortable and unusual position to be slightly down
on University of California, but they will be experienced enough to know what that they're going to need to get down and ahead of, if they can, ahead of UCAL.
These are physical boats. It's a heavy boat. You're carrying along a cox, and these rowers here are showing us how to do it. Very nice blade work. Both of them on their great courses, holding their stroke length, keeping nice and long.
Yeah, this is impressive rowing, like you said, from both crews. University of California definitely look like they've got the advantage at the moment. Both crews keeping a pretty pacey rate as they come through the middle part of the course. Not willing to, it's not, although University of California are almost moving out gradually every stroke now, it's still not going to be a comfortable gap. You really want to feel you've got open water between the two boats if you're leading. And actually, if you're following, if you're Oxford Brookes and chasing, you want to keep that overlap. You want to keep that contention so that when you are ready to put down the extra bit of work or raise the rate, then actually you can pounce quickly. And they could be pulling back a bit on this right as we watch.
You can never write off Oxford Brookes. Their programme, their depth, the amount of Olympic medals they produce is unreal. And they have got that belief, and they have pulled right back to Cal now. They've pulled almost bow ball to bow ball. That was an absolute killer move there, coming through the Forley up to Remenham.
Yeah, and there's nothing like in a two-boat race when you have had to start off from behind, getting the confidence build they've just slipped straight past University of California. It's not that they just moved up and stuck, they just kept moving straight through that boat. It was like California had nothing they could do to stop that move from Oxford Brookes. It's absolutely devastating.
They're making it look like a Cox's boat. They've really kept that rate nice and high. How many strokes per minute they're doing? It looks like they're tapping it along. They're being such loose pitches of them. You're in the middle of a Henley final and they're so loose and powerful. This is really exceptional rowing.
Yeah, they do look as if, I'm sure it wasn't the race plan, but they obviously knew exactly what to do the what if moment of what if we are behind off the start, what are we going to do if we find ourselves half a length down, at the barrier Folly. Either points you say, what do we do at this point? Now they've just handled it cool, calm, collected, moved straight through.
As we look down the Cal boat there, stroke, Tommy Barrell leading his crew on. Can he respond now? As there's a tiny glance across there from Amy Jones in the cock seat of this Oxford Brookes boat on the bottom of your screen, telling a crew, we've done it, we're a length ahead, keep moving.
Yeah, now this is the bit we talk about. This moment is when you suddenly see the crowds, you feel the crowds. There's a sense you are now coming home. This is you coming to the final straight. Now there's still it's a long sprint still from, if you're in a crew, it still feels a long way, but as soon as you hear the crowds, you know. So if you're following, you have to act now, you have to make the impact, you have to start pulling back that crew in front of you. And if you're ahead, you're now got your eye on that finish line and just drive it on.
These rowers know they've already run the temple today, Oxford Brookes. There are 9 of their colleagues, their crewmates, their friends sitting on the bank about to get a Henley medal. They want one too, and they are pulling away from Cal Berkeley on the left of your screen. The maroon of Oxford Brookes. They've almost got a few hundred metres left. Hold on to it.
Looks like University of California raising the rates, they're lifting it. They know they have to act now if they're going to do anything in front of this huge noisy crowd. They've definitely lifted the rate. Brookes have responded. Brookes seem to be holding it. Like you said, the relaxation in both crews is impressive. But Oxford Brookes, look, they've still got the length and they've still got just about the advantage now.
You're looking at 8 rowers. They're almost 200 centimetres tall, all of them. They are absolutely powering. Their rate is up, their lungs are screaming, and they are absolutely careering towards this finish line. And Oxford Brookes have 4 more strokes until they become the Prince Albert Challenge Cup winners of 2022 over the California Berkeley crew. What a race. Coming from behind. You don't see that very often.
No, another great final where the lead changes and just dramatic scenes of racing as they, not just down the course, but even as they cross the line here. The two crews have come together and there's a really lovely moment of respect across the two boats.
Jack, you've competed here a number of years. Just what kind of feeling was that victory?
Yeah, it just felt like a 4-year struggle finally over, and we got the job done. There wasn't really a doubt we were ever going to not do it today, as the crew's just been flying. It's been really, really good. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Amy, why does this one matter so much particularly?
This is my last year at Brookes, so 2 years of hard work, of all the days, the 6 days a week of getting up, doing it, and we've got it. I jumped into this boat a few weeks ago, and these boys have been nothing but incredible, and they've worked so hard, and this shows the work that they've put in, the coaches have put in, and all the hours that go on behind the scenes. It's amazing.
Just a word on the support that you've had, not just here at the boat tents, but at the whole length of the river.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely amazing, especially with the tunnel of form just outside boat tent D. It was absolutely incredible. I have never experienced anything like it. It was
all the way along, rowing up to the start. You just hear "Yeah, Brooks," just left, right, and centre. It makes it all possible, really.
We appreciate every single person that turned up to cheer us on, and we're really grateful.
Really makes a difference.
This victory is for them as well.
Yeah.